Hi, my name is Dr. Gretchen Stanton, and I'll be your chemistry instructor this semester. I just wanted to say hello and welcome to Chemistry 107. I really look forward to meeting you all next week. So I gave you a list of things that I would really like you to do by the first day of class, and then also something by the first week of class. And this is because I just want you to get off to a good start in the semester. The first being logging into Canvas, so you should get an email invite. This is the equivalent of Blackboard, so you can get in there and take a look around. I've already posted a few things. You're already watching the video, so that's great. Just make sure you continue through the syllabus and also answer the questions at the end. So one, this helps me get to know you a little bit better. And two, we're not going to spend a lot of time on the syllabus on the first day of class. So go ahead and watch the video, look through the syllabus, write down any questions you have, and we'll talk about them then. The last being, I want you to feel comfortable coming to see me in my office. I have office hours weekly, and this is your time to ask whatever you like, get help with whatever you like. So I want to make sure you know where my office is and feel comfortable coming there. In doing that, I'd like you to write out your schedule, so your classes and your workload, so that way we can probably talk about study time. Besides that, there are a lot of things that you can do to get off to a good start, so those are the things that I really want you to do. But if you want to get ahead, you can also log into Mastering Chemistry, and this is going to be our online homework system. You can start assignments. There are some already there posted. Under Canvas, under modules, there are already materials posted by chapter, so you can start to look at those. So that's up to you, but I just wanted to say hello and welcome to the course and enjoy your last week. So I will see you next week.
So here's our class syllabus, and I want to just point out the most important information. First, just to remind you of our class meeting times. We have lab once a week, and we also have a problem session that is mandatory once a week. On the side, I have contact information, so the best way to contact me and the fastest way is usually by email, but I do have my office phone number here, website. We're also going to have a class Facebook page, so this is your space to post questions. You can post screenshots of something you're working on, or if you find something really interesting or a resource that would be helpful for your classmates, you can post it all there. So I encourage you to join our Facebook group if you're on Facebook. The next thing are my office hours. So this is one of the most important things on this first page. So again, this is your time to come in and ask me questions about anything you're having difficulty with, or if you just want to talk about study strategies, this is your time. So you have these different times here where you can come to my office. You don't have to email me or let me know you're coming. You can just come on into my office. If you're not going to be on campus but still want to talk to me, I also have an online office hour available. So this is using an app called Fuse Meeting. You just need to let me know ahead of time so that way I can make sure I'm logged in. Another thing I'd like to point out is that you're always welcome to schedule an appointment. So if none of these times work for you, or on that particular week the times don't work for you, just shoot me an email and we can figure out a time to meet. So there's no excuse for not being able to come to meet with me. You can always schedule an appointment. I have a little bit more here about why we're learning chemistry, how it pertains to the field that you're going into, but we'll talk about this a lot more on the first day of class. And here's a little bit about my teaching philosophy, just so you can get to know me a little better. The most important part of the next page is going to be what you need for the course, so what materials you need. And we have our textbook, which is going to be TRO. Make sure that you get the 5th edition. The bookstore sells it as a bundle with your Master in Chemistry, so this is going to be your online homework. And you have a link here to Master in Chemistry, so all of these links are live. You can just click on the link. When you get your access code for Master in Chemistry, you need to go to this website and log on. You're going to need our course ID. So here's our course ID. And if you want to go ahead and get started, there are already assignments there. You're also going to need a non-programmable calculator. So not one of those fancy $100 calculators. You just need a simple, what I recommend is a TI 30. So it's $9 at Best Buy. I'm sure they have it in the bookstore as well. So it has to be non-programmable. Other things that are not required, but I do recommend are going to be one, the calculations in chemistry. So the study guide, you can decide whether or not to get it, but I highly recommend the calculations in chemistry. So this is a whole other book full of problems for you to go through and study strategies, and it goes through the solutions step by step. They do have it in the bookstore, but I recommend going on Amazon. It's a lot cheaper on Amazon, and I put a link here. So that's what you need for lecture. For lab, we need the Chemistry 107 lab manual. It has been updated since last semester, so you want to make sure you get the 5th edition. Okay, it has a blue cover, and you also want to get a pair of safety goggles. All right, so here's what they look like. They do have them in the bookstore, but you're welcome to get them from Home Depot or Lowe's. You can get it from wherever you like. Just make sure it has the splash shield. So if they look big and uncomfortable, you probably have the right ones. The next page we have our point breakdown, or our percentage breakdown for our grading. So you have a pie chart here, and it tells you all of the information about how you're going to be graded. So we are going to have 3 different regular exams. So those are going to be worth 100 points each, so 300 points, and none of those are going to be dropped. And then you have a final exam worth 200 points. So your exam total is 50% of your grade. We also have homework that's 15%, so a pretty large percentage of your grade. And there are plenty of opportunities for, let's say you have a late assignment, you can still get up to 50% of the credit. So even if you miss an assignment, it happens sometimes, go back and go through the problems, 1, to get the practice in, and 2, you can still get some of those points. We're going to have a few unannounced quizzes and lecture. These are going to be worth 5% of your grade. We have problem session and participation, which is worth 10% of your grade. So that's also a pretty large percentage. So we're going to have problem session once a week. We're also going to be having different group work in class. And another thing is going to be our flipped class lessons. So this will be where you either complete a video lesson at home or a startup assignment. So all of the startup assignments are already posted on Canvas, where you go through the textbook, you read through the textbook, and there are questions that you answer before you come to class. So this will allow us to, 1, work a lot more problems together in class, and also have deeper discussions about the course material. So all of these will go into your problem session and participation grade. The last big part is your laboratory grade, which is 20%. And I can't stress enough that this makes a huge impact on your grade. So you want to turn in all of your assignments from lab. You want to make sure you just review your materials for your quizzes, because as long as you're turning everything in and formatting it correctly, asking questions where you're unclear, this lab part should be a boost to your grade. It's 20%. The next thing I have is just a few tips for getting off to a good start, but also maintaining that throughout the semester. So I won't go through all of these, but I'll just pick out a few and let you read through the rest. The first one being attend office hours. I can't stress this enough. So I'm the one making your exams, so you really want to seek help from your classmates and go to tutoring and supplemental instruction, but you really want to come to me as well with questions. So this is your time to ask whatever you like. You can come in by yourself, you can come in as a group and ask questions, but the students that tend to do well in my courses are the ones who come to office hours consistently. So almost every week they're in office hours. I also recommend coming to class every day. Just showing up makes a huge difference. So especially since a lot of our lessons will be flipped class lessons. That means we're going to work a lot of problems in class. So going through those problems in class is really important. Okay, also doing the startup assignments. So part of being able to really utilize your class time is having already gone through the material at home and having a little bit of time to digest the material. One that's, sometimes a little bit hard, but ask questions. That's what I'm there for. If something's unclear and you have a question, chances are someone else in the class has the exact same question, so you're actually helping out your classmates. Another one I'd like to stress is practice. Okay, I always say that practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes better. And the more you practice the problems, the better you'll become at them and the quicker you'll be able to figure out what's going on with the problem. So it just takes a lot of practice, as with any cumulative class. The last thing I'd like to point out is taking advantage of your resources. So you have free tutoring in the Tutor Center. You also have, on a weekly basis, right outside of the faculty offices, there are some tables, and there are STEM students who have taken the courses, so someone who's already taken 107, there to help you with whatever questions you have, and it's completely free. Right? Another thing we're going to have this semester is supplemental instruction. So it will be similar to our problem session, but again, it will be one of your peers, somebody who is already taking Chemistry 107 and has done well in the course, will be leading a problem session. So this is really, I put that one in red because it's a really good one to attend. So the next thing is our lecture schedule. I'd like you to have an idea of what we're going to talk about that day. Everything is outlined here, and it's also nice for those days where you are absent. You can look at the syllabus and you already know what we went over that day. I'd like to bring your attention to a few things. So the first being we have startup assignments. So this is a part of our flipped class lesson, and I'll point out where these are on Canvas. But these you want to complete by that date and come into lecture with that already done and ready to go. So again, this will be you going through the textbook for that chapter and working on some questions that will get you ready for our discussion in class. Another thing we have listed here is when the online homework is due. So this is Mastering Chemistry. Your first assignment will be due the Sunday after the first week of classes, and this will be a tutorial on how to use Mastering Chemistry and a little bit of math review. But you have all the due dates for both your startup assignments and Mastering Chemistry all here on the lecture schedule. If you look on Canvas, another thing you have is a little bit more detail about the Mastering Chemistry assignments. So if you want a list of the problems and about how long they'll take, there is a PDF file that you can click on Canvas. So that's that. Before we get to our lab schedule, why don't we go ahead and take a look at Canvas. You will receive an invite for you to log into Canvas. So again, this is very similar to Blackboard, and I just want to point out the most important part. So here's our home page when you log in. It has a reminder of when my office hours are, but the two most important tabs here are going to be Modules and Files. So let's click on Modules first. And in modules, you're going to see that everything is organized by, well, we have kind of the syllabus and first day stuff, but everything is going to be organized by chapter. Okay, and you can see that there are already some assignments in there. So we'll look at this on the first day of class, but if you want to get ahead, we have the startup for chapter 2, and we also have some TED Ed video lessons, so this will be a part of the flipped class lesson, and we also have some math review tutorials. So again, we'll add to this and everything will be organized by the chapter we're working on. If you click on Files, we have pretty much everything there you need. So exams, handouts, all of the problems that we do in class, the problem sets that we do in our problem session, But one of the most important ones now is going to be the startups and learning outcomes by chapter. So if you click on that, these are going to be the startups that are on your syllabus that you will complete before you come to class as a part of the flipped class. And the reason why these are so important, so if you click on one, what you'll see is you have learning outcomes, or this is exactly what I want you to learn for each chapter. So I think one big question is always, well, what do I need to focus on, or what's going to be on the exam? These startups outline every single thing that I want you to know. And then after that, you'll have some questions that help you go through the text and focus on the most important concepts. So again, we'll add to this, but those are going to be the most two important tabs, and I'll be adding some announcements and different things. Okay, so the next thing is going to be our lab schedule. So you have an idea of what we're doing each day. And also on this side, it tells you what's going to be due. So do we have a pre-lab assignment due? So something you have to complete before you come to lab. Or if we have a lab report due that day. It's all outlined here. Okay, so what you want to do in general for each lab is you want to read through the entire lab. Okay, you can jot down any questions you have. I usually do a pre-lab lecture, a very short lecture right before lab, but that's your opportunity to ask any questions you have. One thing to note is that both your pre-lab assignment and the lab report due for that day will be due in lecture. Okay, so even though there are lab reports, they're going to be due at the beginning of lecture on that day. At the bottom, you can read through these yourself, but it outlines what you need to do before you come to lab. So here, so for example, your pre-lab, on the day of lab, it tells you what you need to do. Okay, during lab, one thing that I like to point out is that on all of your data sheets, you have to write in pen. Okay, and we'll talk about this more on the first day. If you make a mistake, you put one line through it and keep going. At the end of lab and then after lab. So this tells you what you need to complete. So a little bit more about lab. We're going to have each of the lab reports worth 15 points. Okay, so some of those will be your pre-lab and then your data, and then you also have a post-lab that you work on afterwards. Some other things, we're going to have quizzes, but if you look on the page before, it tells you when those lab quizzes are and on what experiments, so you can prepare for those. And then at the end of the semester, we're going to have a final lab exam and a practical, but we'll talk about those in more detail when we get to them. Something very important is that you have to pass lab in order to pass lecture. Okay, so you have to have a 65% in lab in order to pass lecture. Under here, I have just some things about safety. I'll let you read through those yourself because we'll be talking about them a lot on the first day of lab. So you can go through those. On the very last page of our syllabus, one of the most important things here is going to be the resources. So you have all of these resources already available to you. Okay, so if you need something, just ask, because chances are we already have something in place on campus that can help you with that particular thing. So we have lots of resources on campus. I won't go into a lot of detail about our classroom learning environment. I want us to have a discussion about it because it's not my class, it's our class. We can have a discussion about it on the first day of class. But one thing I will point out is my cell phone policy. So I'm okay with you having your cell phone out at your desk. I realize that some people have children, or just in case an emergency comes up, you want to have your cell phone readily available. But if I see you looking on it or actively looking at things that are not class related, then I will ask you to leave. So it's just because I want you to, one, make the most of your class time, and two, it's very disruptive to your fellow classmates who are trying to focus when you have your cell phone out and you're doing other things. With that said, we will have some activities where we are going to be using our cell phones. So we have some games and different exercises that we will be using our cell phones for. But in general, it can be out, just leave it there. At the bottom, I just have a quick chemistry fact to end that you can look through yourself. Okay, just make sure you jot down any questions you have. You can save it for the first day of class, or if it's a really burning question, you can email me or post it on our Facebook page. You'll be helping out your classmates.